They thought Arthur McConnell was just a frail old man in a dirty jacket, someone to mock, someone to shame. So Captain Tyler Madsen did just that, humiliated him in front of an entire café, capturing every word for his followers. What they didn't know, McConnell was a Medal of Honor recipient, a war hero who once carried wounded soldiers through enemy fire with nothing but grit and heart. And when a 4-star general walks in and salutes McConnell, everything flips. Stick around because the man they belittled is about to remind them what real honor looks like. Justice doesn't need a uniform. It walks in with silence and changes everything. Let us know where you're watching from and what time you discovered this video. We read all comments. Captain Tyler Madsen's boots clicked against Cornerstone Café's polished floor, each step a declaration of authority. The morning sun caught his immaculate captain's pins, casting prideful reflections across the walls. His chest swelled with satisfaction as conversations hushed at his entrance. Exactly the respect a decorated officer deserved. There sat Arthur McConnell hunched over his usual corner table, wearing that disgraceful excuse for a military jacket. The sight of coffee stains on McConnell's sleeve made Captain Tyler Madsen's jaw clench. His own uniform remained pristine, every crease razor-sharp, every button gleaming. This was how a real veteran presented himself. "Time to set an example," Captain Tyler Madsen muttered, adjusting his veteran's cap while checking his reflection in the window. Perfect. His phone was already recording. His 50,000 followers would appreciate today's lesson in military bearing. The cafe fell silent as Captain Tyler Madsen approached McConnell's table boots, echoing like artillery fire across tile. Several patrons raised their phones, sensing the brewing confrontation. Even better, more exposure for the cause. "You're a disgrace to the uniform," Captain Tyler Madsen declared, voice carrying to every corner. "Look at you, unwashed, unkempt. Is this how you honor your service?" His words dripped with theatrical disdain as he gestured to McConnell's shabby appearance. The old man's steady gaze flickered up something dangerous lurking in those weathered eyes. For a fraction of a second, Captain Tyler Madsen's certainty wavered. The service medal on his chest seemed to grow heavier, its weight suddenly uncomfortable. But he pressed on, drawing himself to full height. "I've served with distinction, led men into battle, and you dare show your face here looking like this." His phone captured every moment of the performance. A young woman at the counter gasped. "Sir, that's Arthur McConnell." Silence. Captain Tyler Madsen barked, relishing his command presence. "This is between veterans." His hand unconsciously touched his captain's pins, drawing strength from their familiar ridges. McConnell slowly gathered his things, movements deliberate and controlled, still silent, still watching. The cafe's atmosphere crackled with tension. Type pride if you've ever witnessed someone drunk on power. Captain Tyler Madsen's social media notifications exploded within hours. Their vet pride trended alongside his video, thousands sharing his righteous confrontation. Yet something nagged at him. That unwavering gaze, those eyes that had seen. What exactly? Later that evening, alone in his study, Captain Tyler Madsen polished his pins for the 3rd time that day. "They don't understand," he whispered to his reflection. "Someone has to maintain standards. Someone has to keep order." But why did his hands shake slightly as he placed the pins back in their velvet box? Will Captain Tyler Madsen's carefully constructed world of military pride and social media influence survive what's coming? Can a man so focused on appearances recognize true honor when it silently stares him in the face? The real question that would haunt Captain Tyler Madsen in the hours to come: what happens when the uniform you've hidden behind becomes the very thing that exposes your deepest fears? Captain Tyler Madsen stared at the service record spread across his mahogany desk, each commendation and medal listing reinforcing the narrative he'd crafted. 23 years of administrative excellence managing logistics that kept troops supplied and missions running. His fingers traced over his own image, crisp uniform adorned with medals that validated his authority. The morning sun cast long shadows through his study window, as Arthur McConnell's hunched figure made his daily pilgrimage past his house. Captain Tyler Madsen's jaw clenched. The Medal of Honor recipient's mere existence challenged everything he'd built his identity around. Grabbing his phone, Captain Tyler Madsen followed at a distance, determined to gather more ammunition against this threat to his carefully constructed world. The crunch of fallen leaves beneath his polished boots felt accusatory with each step. Captain Tyler Madsen's thumb hovered over the record button as McConnell approached the veteran's memorial. But what unfolded made his hand tremble. The old man moved with unexpected grace, producing a soft cloth and cleaning solution from his worn jacket. With reverence that made Captain Tyler Madsen's chest tighten, McConnell began cleaning each engraved name. His weathered hands moved with the tenderness of a parent touching a child's face. "Hello, James," McConnell whispered to one name. Still keeping watch, Maria to another. Captain Tyler Madsen's phone lowered slowly as realization crept in like a cold dawn. These weren't just names to McConnell. They were friends, brothers, sisters, people he'd fought beside, bled with, perhaps watched fall. Captain Tyler Madsen's service medal felt suddenly heavy against his chest. He clutched it reflexively, but its familiar weight offered no comfort. Instead, each ridge and curve seemed to press accusations into his palm. How many names did he know? How many faces could he recall from those supply manifests he'd managed? A notification chirped on his phone. Another social media comment praising his takedown of McConnell at the café. The words that had filled him with satisfaction yesterday now tasted like ash. Captain Tyler Madsen opened his photos, scrolling through dozens of surveillance shots of McConnell. Each image told a different story now. The old soldier helping young veterans navigate VA paperwork, teaching JROTC students about service and sacrifice, volunteering at the local VA hospital. What have I become? The question escaped Captain Tyler Madsen's lips in a whisper that scattered the leaves at his feet. His entire career, built on managing resources and tracking efficiency metrics, suddenly felt hollow against McConnell's quiet acts of service. Back in his study, Captain Tyler Madsen discovered his hands shaking as he researched McConnell's military record. The Medal of Honor citation described not a single grand gesture, but a week-long series of actions saving wounded comrades under heavy fire. Day after day of choosing others over himself. The official language couldn't hide the human cost, the weight of those choices. Captain Tyler Madsen's own service record stared back at him. Exemplary, efficient, empty of the kind of sacrifice he'd mocked in McConnell. A new notification popped up, his latest post about real military excellence going viral among his followers. The engagement metrics that usually thrilled him now felt like evidence of his corruption. For one, if you've ever realized you've become what you despised. His phone rang. Another interview request about his stance against fake heroes. Captain Tyler Madsen's hand knocked over his Administrative Excellence Award as he reached for the phone. The crash echoed through his study like judgment. As he bent to pick up the pieces, his eyes fell on a quote inscribed on its base. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. The words blurred as Captain Tyler Madsen's eyes welled up. He'd built his entire identity on titles and positions, using them as weapons against a man who embodied true influence through quiet service. The autumn wind whistled through his window, carrying the distant sound of McConnell's careful footsteps, still echoing in his mind each step, an indictment of what Captain Tyler Madsen had chosen to become. The sun catches my service medal as I pace the length of my home office, refreshing the trending feed for the 100th time. My Hypersarg Vet Pride post exposing Arthur McConnell's supposed fraud has exploded just as I planned. Retired Army Captain Tyler Madsen. That's who I am. Defender of military honor, protector of our sacred traditions. At least that's what I keep telling myself as my hands tremble slightly over the keyboard. A notification pings. Another media request. But something else catches my eye. A video is spreading faster than my post showing McConnell diving into Jefferson Park Lake this morning. The splash echoes in my ears as I watch him emerge with a struggling child in his arms, his movements precise despite his age. His shabby jacket, the same one I'd mocked at Cornerstone Café, lies discarded on the shore like an accusation. My chest tightens as I scroll through the comments. True hero? Real veteran. Each word feels like a dagger. I grab my service medal, the metal cool against my palm. It's always steadied me before reminded me of my authority. But today, its weight feels different. I have to see for myself. Driving to the Veterans Memorial, I spot McConnell through the trees. He's not alone. A woman in black, Clara Wilson, the widow of a recently fallen Marine, stands with him. I press myself behind an oak tree, my medal catching on the bark. The sound of crisp bills being counted reaches me. For Tommy's college fund? McConnell's voice is soft. No veteran's child left behind. My perfectly curated social media presence shows a different story. My posts about stolen valor and protecting military honor gaining thousands of angry supporters. But here, hidden in the growing shadows, I watch McConnell meticulously tend to each name on the memorial wall. His fingers trace the letters with a reverence I've only pretended to possess. The Marine's hymn drifts across the evening air, McConnell's quiet humming, carrying decades of service in each note. My phone buzzes, another notification about my viral post. But the triumph I'd expected feels hollow, as whispers about McConnell's past reach my ears. 3 tours in Vietnam, Silver Star recipient, Distinguished Service Cross. Each detail lands like a body blow. Captain Madsen. A voice startles me. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, my former subordinate, stands nearby. I saw your post about McConnell. Her eyes drift to where he kneels at the memorial. Did you know he saved my father's unit in '69? The medal ceremony was classified, but... She walks away, leaving the rest unsaid. Have you ever felt your certainty crumble like sand between your fingers? My hands shake as I pull up my original post. The comments have shifted. Someone's shared archived footage. McConnell receiving his Medal of Honor. His face younger, but bearing the same quiet dignity I'd mistaken for fraudulence. The hashtag Madsen Wrong begins to trend alongside my Furish Vet Pride. The medal in my pocket feels heavier than ever. Through the gathering dusk, I watch McConnell finish his evening ritual at the memorial. The same man I'd publicly humiliated now stands as a silent rebuke to everything I thought I stood for. The sound of his cane tapping against the pavement fades into the distance, leaving me alone with the weight of my misjudgment. Share this video if you've ever had to face the truth about yourself. Type honor if you believe in second chances. The evening wind carries the last notes of the Marine's hymn, and with it the devastating question I can no longer avoid. In my rush to protect military honor, have I become the very thing I claimed to fight against? Officer Tyler Madsen's perfectly pressed uniform felt like a prison as he stood rigidly at attention during the Veterans Day ceremony. The service medal that had been his shield of arrogance now scorched against his chest like a brand of shame. His eyes darted nervously between General Clark at the podium and Arthur McConnell's dignified figure in the front row. The thunder of applause crashed over him as General Clark's voice boomed, "Today we honor a true hero, Medal of Honor recipient Arthur McConnell, whose courage under fire saved an entire platoon. Each word hammered another nail into Tyler Madsen's coffin of hubris. His smartphone buzzed incessantly. Notifications from the viral video of his confrontation at Cornerstone Café flooding in. Madsen shame was trending. Tyler Madsen's trembling fingers could barely grip the device as he glimpsed comments condemning his treatment of a decorated war hero. "I served with McConnell in '91, a senior officer nearby whispered. "Man's a legend, carried 3 wounded soldiers through enemy fire." The words sliced through Tyler Madsen's carefully constructed facade. His knees weakened as the magnitude of his arrogance crashed down. When McConnell approached the podium, his quiet humility stood in stark contrast to Tyler Madsen's previous bluster. "Service isn't about medals," McConnell said, his voice steady. "It's about the soldiers beside you." Tyler Madsen's chest tightened as he remembered his own boastful words at the cafe. The phone slipped from Tyler Madsen's trembling grasp, clattering on the pavement. The sound drew several sharp looks, including one from General Clark. Tyler Madsen's face burned as he bent to retrieve it, his service ribbons suddenly feeling like weights dragging him down. Type "Honor Restored" if you believe in real heroes. Scrolled across his screen, one of thousands of comments on the viral video of his cafe confrontation. His own words from that day echoed mockingly, "Do you know who I am? I earned these medals." Now surrounded by true heroes, Tyler Madsen understood the hollow ring of his pride. The social media feeds that once inflated his ego now served as a digital monument to his disgrace. A young cadet approached McConnell for an autograph. Tyler Madsen watched as the Medal of Honor recipient spoke kindly to the youth, embodying everything Tyler Madsen had falsely claimed to be. The service medal on his chest felt heavier with each passing moment. "Captain Madsen," General Clark's voice cut through his spiral of shame. "Join us at the podium." Tyler Madsen's legs moved automatically, each step an eternity. The faces in the crowd blurred as he mounted the stairs, his carefully maintained image crumbling with every footfall. The podium microphone captured his ragged breathing. I have something to say." Tyler Madsen began, his voice cracking. The silence that followed felt eternal. "I've dishonored this uniform and everything it stands for." The admission drew gasps from the crowd, but McConnell's steady gaze gave him the courage to continue. The live streams captured every moment of Tyler Madsen's public reckoning. His confession trended higher than his original transgression, with Umber Madsen redemption replacing Bonbrecher Madsen shame. But for the first time, Tyler Madsen wasn't checking his phone. The truth had finally become more important than his image. "Share this moment if you believe in redemption through truth," flashed across thousands of screens as Tyler Madsen removed his service medal and placed it on the podium. The metallic clink echoed through the square's sound system a period at the end of his confession. The ceremony concluded with Tyler Madsen standing at attention beside McConnell, no longer trying to overshadow him, but finally understanding what true service meant. His phone remained silent in his pocket, unnecessary now that he'd found something real to stand for. Retired Army Captain Tyler Madsen's reflection pierces the dawn silence at the Veterans Memorial, his chest notably bare, where his service medal usually rests. The morning air carries the rhythmic sound of bristles against stone as he works methodically, each stroke an act of penance. His hands, once raised in mockery at Cornerstone Café, now move with reverence across the names of fallen soldiers. The birdsong seems to mock his former arrogance as Tyler Madsen watches Arthur McConnell from the corner of his eye. The Medal of Honor recipient doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His quiet dignity radiates louder than any of Tyler Madsen's past boasts ever did. The memory of that viral video, his own voice dripping with contempt as he belittled McConnell's behind the lines service, now burns like acid in his throat. I used to think medals made the soldier, Tyler Madsen whispers to the dawn, his brush pausing over a name. I was so wrong. His phone buzzes, another notification from his transformed social media feed. Where staged photos of his medals once dominated, now there are simple snapshots, yesterday's lunch delivery to homeless veterans, last week's quiet hospital visits, tomorrow's scheduled maintenance at the local VA center. The morning light catches something metallic by McConnell's feet. A bucket of cleaning supplies. Tyler Madsen's mind flashes to his own service medal deliberately left on his dresser this morning. The weight of its absence feels right now like shedding armor he never needed. "Sir," Tyler Madsen breaks the silence, his voice barely above a whisper. "I never understood before. Service isn't about who sees it or who praises it. It's about—" His voice catches as McConnell simply nods, understanding. A group of young veterans appears at the memorial's entrance, phones raised to capture the scene. But unlike that fateful day at Cornerstone Café, Tyler Madsen doesn't pose or preen. Instead, he turns back to his work, letting his actions speak louder than words ever could. His latest social media post appears on their screens. "True heroes don't need spotlights. They're too busy serving. Quiet heroes." The hashtag has spread through the veteran community like wildfire, inspiring a movement of humble service that stands in stark contrast to his former grandstanding. The sun climbs higher as Tyler Madsen moves to another monument, his boots now making that characteristic soft shuffle McConnell had tried to teach him about. The sound of a soldier who serves not for glory, but for purpose. The morning light catches tears on his cheeks, but he doesn't wipe them away. They're part of his transformation, as essential as the brush in his hands and the lesson in his heart. Drop 2. If you believe true heroes serve silently. Share this story to honor our quiet heroes. Tyler Madsen straightens up, feeling the weight of McConnell's approving glance. His service medal may be at home, but his heart has never felt more decorated. In the end, it wasn't about losing his pride. It was about finding a deeper kind of honor, one that whispers, instead of shouts, serves instead of demands, and leads by following the quiet examples of true heroes like Arthur McConnell. The memorial stands gleaming in the morning sun, a testament to both the heroes carved in stone and the ongoing journey of redemption. Tyler Madsen's transformation, documented across social media and witnessed by thousands, has become its own kind of memorial, not to pride or power, but to the enduring strength of humility and the quiet dignity of true service.